Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Nervachon. This is episode number 139. And this week I'm joined by my co host, Scott, aka Scobie1.
Hey, hello, is this thing on? How is everyone doing? Welcome back.
It is working, my friend. And on the other side, we do got Roger, aka Lunatic Oblivion. What's going on, my
Hey
friend?
guys, how are you?
Hey, guys, welcome back after a long hiatus of about 3 weeks. And we actually have all three of us here on the show finally. So, what's everyone been up to? Let's go with Scott. Scott's been the really busy one here. What's going on in your
Been
life,
up
man?
Too damn much. Too damn much. So for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, so I recently had a daughter. She was born on the 22nd at 8:33 p.m. Lovely little Alice Ray. She has been just an absolute boon to Susan and myself. And she has been just fantastic. She's adorable. I know I'm a little biased, but she's absolutely stunning, adorable through and through. Our sleep, however, has suffered, as everyone is aware, it will. And just because we decided things weren't hard enough, we also decided to buy a house. Thus, the new background behind me. I'm in my new office with loads more shelving, so I can put all of my cool shit back up. So can't wait to be finished with that. But with that comes moving and yard work and everything like that, and it has been crazy. I mean, the title company actually came to the hospital and they closed in the hospital room with me. And so I was sitting on the couch next to the bassinet and just signing my life away, and Susan, aka Lady Friend, was over there holding Alice and just waiting, and then we swapped, and then she had to sign, and it was crazy. So we baby on the 22nd, moved on the 27th, and then I've just been waking up, and for the first 2-3 hours of my day and the last hour, 2 hours of my day have just been going out to the garage and just hucking boxes, figuring out where things go, trying to get things set up. And we've been taking it one box at a time now that we have the essentials done. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the bags under the eyes.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the club, man. You know, we're now officially all married and we're officially all have kids. You know, it's definitely been great. So obviously, you haven't had much time to game, but Roger, it seems like you had some time to game. What have you been up to other than gaming?
Honestly, other than gaming, just working.
Oh, I hear that the new promotion's been treating you well, huh?
Yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I hear that. My job's been very miserable because we're still without AC. It's about 2-3 weeks now. It actually might be longer. But I've been stressing to my regional manager like how bad it was, and he didn't understand how bad it was until he decided to come to work in my store for a day. And within 5 minutes, he was on the phone with somebody like, "Yeah, we need to do something." Well, no shit. Like I've been telling you this entire time. So now we have restructured hours, so we're open 10 to 12, and then 5 to 9. So it's like either if I open the store, say I'm 9:30 to 12, I then go to a Men's Warehouse and finish out my shift. I'm not going back to work in the store 5 to 9. That's what they tried to do for me, and I was like, it's not gonna cut it, bro. I'm not losing my entire day because of your poor mismanagement. But yeah, hopefully within the next week or two, maybe 3 weeks, we might have AC again. You know, I'm just living the life with no AC because my car also does not have AC. So no matter where I go, no AC for me.
I got some portable fans that we took to the rent fair and then the hospital. If you want that,
just throw them in the car.
it just flips
fans.
on and it's just right there, man.
Yeah. So hopefully I can get that fixed eventually. But yeah, other than work, I also had my family reunion yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, did not win the cornhole tournament this year. I think we came in like
It's okay.
fifth or something. We weren't there. The first couple games we were on, but me and my teammate kind of just fell apart. Not sure what happened, but I got a lot of practice to do. Scott got the brutal end of my cornhole abilities, and guess I need some more practice.
For what it's worth, I just got done cooking for like 70 people.
Yeah,
so
that's fair. Let's use that as the excuse for now.
I
But
will.
let's actually move on though to what we've been playing. Obviously, it's been a few weeks, so we had some time to play some games for some of us not so much. But going to kick it off here just with I've beaten quite a few games over the past like few weeks. I did beat Dungeons of Hinterberg finally. That was a tremendous fucking game. I literally gave it a 9 out of 10, and it basically did not get a 10 out of 10 because what was driving me insane was like it had no voice acting in the game, and like that is like a major part into a game. Like I didn't feel as immersed into the world as I really wanted to be, but everything else was great. Like mechanics, the gameplay, the audio, like the music was great, the level design was great. Like I love the concept of like the different areas that you would go to get new abilities, and like going into the dungeons you would use these abilities in that certain area. And like some of the puzzles were great. The boss battles that you would have on at the end of some of the levels too were pretty fun. And it was just an overall great experience, and like the game kind of sets it up for like either like some DLC or a sequel to be added to it as well. So I'm really looking forward to see how that game like continues to go. Like this seems like it's a new series, and I'm glad it came to Game Pass. But let's talk about some other games here for you guys. Roger, actually, there's a couple on your list here because it's actually one of them that I actually beat as well. But you guys are playing Flock. I assume that you are playing that with Jordan.
Mhm.
How's that experience going for you? Before I give you my insight,
Dude, I'm about to fall asleep every time I play that fucking game, man.
it's so meditative though. It's like you just turn your brain
I'm
off. You're
like,
just like, okay.
I'm playing a game. Shit. I'm like sitting here like,
I told you it's a literally turn your brain off kind of game.
yeah.
It's so like chill.
And like
it's something you
Jordan
play at
missed
the end of
like
the night to fall
a
asleep.
little scene part of it, and so like she's like in the back zone. I'm on the next zone because you actually progress independently of one another, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was cool, but like
Oh yeah, I
there
forgot
were
you could play
parts where
cooperatively. I forgot
yeah,
about that part. Yeah.
yeah, we were playing cooperatively, and each of you have your own sort of progression. And the fact that like she's all the way back there, and I'm almost done with the next zone, and I was like, this is it just felt interesting but also weird at times. I liked how it plays. Like the cooperativeness feels pretty good about it though.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That like it allows each person to like kind of discover the world at its own pace. But you guys are still like you can fly together, you
Mhm.
can do the stuff together, or you can just go off and do your own thing. Where like some games that's hard to do. Like some of them
Yeah.
is like tied to like one progression. Like if you trigger a quest, well, guess what? Everybody's doing that quest and stuff like
Yeah.
that. How far along do you think you guys are in that game?
Well, we know how far we are just because of the layers of the world there,
Hmm.
and then like how it fills out, and you have to kind of I'm assuming taming the things or like making allies with the thing is sort of a back burner thing. Like it happens when it happens, but I think I'm right at the end there.
Hmm.
Pretty sure I'm almost done. It's just trying to get over that last little bit of the game.
Yeah, because I do know that you can actually beat the game without discovering every single creature in the world, but
Mhm.
I wasn't picking that up there for a while because I was like, I can't find these two. I was literally flying around for like hours trying to find these fucking creatures and couldn't find them. And then here it
Mhm.
was because I didn't trigger the next quest to then trigger them to appear, and I was just like, what the fuck? Did you do the creature in the cave yet?
Uh,
Underneath the mushroom?
I wanted to. I just don't have the quest for it yet. Like I
Okay,
looked at him because you can see his eyes sitting in there, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay,
It didn't do a
Uh,
really good job explaining that that was the next thing to do because it like you can
yeah.
see your quest but like nothing was there, just I had no quests, and I was like,
Mhm.
what the fuck do I do? And then I'm flying around for hours trying to figure shit out, and then I finally got it, but I was just like, they did not do a good job of explaining it. So I think I gave this game like a 7 out of 10. Like it was just a good game to me. It wasn't bad, you know. The
Yeah.
concept of the game was pretty cool. It was really meditative. It was really a palate cleanser for me, because it was such a really chill ass game where it didn't have to focus at all. Like there, you weren't really trying to solve puzzles. You were just really just flying around. It reminded me like Pokemon Snap back in the day. Like you're really just going around like,
Mhm.
ooh, new creature added to the book. Like that's all you're doing pretty much. Um, but yeah, I don't see that game progressing any further. It is what it is, and here it.
It was meant to be just a single short experience to enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Scott. Let's talk about your games here. You got quite a few I want to talk about here. So, you've been playing a lot of simulation games here. You want to talk to me about these here?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the lawnmower simulator. There was a DLC for real life. Apparently, if you meet some criteria and get a house with a yard, you have to still mow that with a little Ryobi 14-inch battery operated lawnmower. And you're looking at about s- like 7,000 square feet of yard, and that sucks. It took
Yeah.
me 2 days.
So, how much in-game
Um,
currency you gonna need to purchase a riding mower?
We will find out. Hopefully,
They run about
we-
$1,000, I hear. That's a pretty expensive DLC.
hopefully if I go to the auction house, aka Facebook Marketplace, the economy's not too terrible there, and people just haven't been creating it to flood the economy with them. Uh, hopefully it'll be a little decent price. But yeah, that was rough. That was awesome. I was actually doing it up until about 2 hours ago.
Oof. Yeah, no fun
That's
there.
why I hired somebody. I was like, fuck it, I'll pay a dude 145 to cut my lawn every 2 weeks.
Yeah, why not, right? I'm glad I live in an apartment complex. Don't gotta do shit right now, but I know that'll come once I do buy a house, which I'm excited to do eventually.
Oh,
But what other simulations you got going on?
so I've been playing the diaper changer simulator,
That's pretty fun.
which usually pretty rhythmic, but what I love about the game, and it's also the most challenging part, is so you'll get a diaper every, every 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour maybe. Or you can just go do the diaper without being warned of the diaper. And you can just do it and get ahead of it. But my favorite part is like particularly around depending on what time you're playing, usually uh between like 1 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. If you're playing that late, the game likes to throw a couple quick successions at you. So you'll probably get like 5 in about 10 minutes, depending, and it really throws you through a loop because you'll go through, you'll complete the whole process, take everything, get the diaper changed, get everything back on, and then you'll put the diaper holder back in their rest position, and then just immediate next new diaper. You needs a new diaper. You hear it. There's audible tones. It's almost like a soundboard. How comical it is sometimes.
Have you reached
But a
the
couple times,
have you reached the alligator level yet?
I'm not. I haven't yet, but I've been just ducking and diving, just trying to get through a couple of these. They really come at you fast. I think so far my record is about 5 or 6 in 10 to 12 minutes. Just because the game just, I don't know if it's,
You must be on the expert level difficulty.
I don't know if it's SBM, or what it is about this game yet. I don't know if they figured out how they want to handle that. But yeah, sometimes it's nice, easy, rhythmic. Other times it's just super fast. But only at certain times. Only when you're trying to sleep usually is when that really takes over. And then you'll hear it, you'll change it, you'll put it back, you'll hear it, or sometimes if you're lucky, you'll be changing it and you'll hear it right then and there, and you'll see it actually. There's visual cues
Visual
as
cues,
well.
yeah, you'll see it. Yeah.
And it'll just right there in front of you. You're like, well, don't need that one anymore. That was gonna get put on, and then you just hop right in. But it's nice because you get a 2-for-1. So
2-for-1 special.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Try to see how they're gonna deal with the season on that. Like I said, super fun.
I'm telling you, whenever
that
you get to the alligator level, that's when shit becomes really hard to do. You might want to throw the controller at that point. But any other simulations going on that you've been playing?
Other than that, just been doing some IRL sims, just trying to put rooms together.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. The game's called Unpack. There is an actual game called Unpack though, so that's great. But let's go ahead and
then,
talk.
of course, Pokemon Go.
Yeah, but I was going to tie that in because I was like, I've been
Daily.
playing Pokemon Go. I've been playing that whenever I can, and it's always great because like when I go to these Men's Warehouse stores, for some reason they have like a ton of fucking like Pokestops around them and a gym, and I'm like, oh, this is tough. Like my shit don't ever have any. I have the Starbucks. That's why I have like a gym right there, but that's it.
Oh yeah, yep. Starbies.
But Pokemon Go is starting to hit that like barrier where it's like I don't even want to play no more because I'm running out of space for Pokemon, and I don't feel like spending real money to expand it. It's like it's so weird that like there's like 1,500 different Pokemon, but you give me 350 storage. Like you're you're going to force the player to then spend money, and that's not. I don't think that's cool.
Well, that's where you have to. That's where you have to like. And I hate this about the game. You have to like strategically place Pokemon at gyms on certain days, because your max amount of Pokecoin you can get is 50. And you only get that if your Pokemon's been in a gym for, I believe, a day or two. So you have to like really kind of overlap it just to make sure you're getting your 50 a day. But even then, I'm still convinced that the shinies in Pokemon Go that's a conspiracy to make you buy more storage because you can't transfer them. I have like 36 shiny Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash at that, which you don't want, you just don't care about, and I can't get rid of them.
I didn't know that you can't transfer to shinies. That's crazy.
And they're all 0 stars. Like
This is garbage.
it's just garbage.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, Roger. Let's talk about a game that me and you played last week, a couple weeks ago when we hopped back into Halo Infinite multiplayer. Trying to get through the battle passes and also to kick off the new one as well. Which it seems like the game's still thriving. Like I know a lot of people still hop into the game and whatnot, but I think me and you had a really fun experience when we were playing. Um, Especially we were like, let's play 2v2. We're like, I think I'm bad at this. Let's play big team. I think I'm bad at this too, guys. Like we can find a game mode, but we started getting to like
Oh
a nice
man,
little
out
rhythm.
here, like let's just play a game mode. I'm better on the big ones. Okay, cool. Why are you at the bottom of the scoreboard? I said I was better at them. Didn't say I was good. Oh, sorry, Vic. I didn't realize.
There's a better on the big ones joke in there somewhere.
I didn't say I was good. I said I was better.
I was better.
One is better than 0. Okay.
Yeah, so Halo Infinite
No.
just continued to be fun, you know.
It's a nice game to spend your time. I don't feel like I have to sweat as hard. Like all
I
it
do.
takes is just a little bit of communication and the game feels good. If you're sitting there brain off, there are people like at the elo we're at now that are sweaty, that
Yeah,
are you can smell them on the other side of the headset and it is rough.
yeah, no doubt about that. Because like I feel like the one game was carrying the other team. Like I think he had like 35 kills and like his bottom two teammates didn't even have one, and they still won.
Mhm.
Like what the fuck is going on here?
Yep.
All right, so
Oh, that
another
hurts.
game, Roger. I'm really curious to hear about that. It's finally here on your list. Is Kunitsigami. Um, how has your experience been? And like, I actually want to hear you
Yeah.
describe how this game plays. Like, what kind of genres is this game?
Okay, so this is not a new genre by any means. So this is a first person tactical like strategy game. This is a tower defense game, a first person tower defense game. But
Third person?
instead of towers or third
Yeah,
person, it's over the shoulder or not over the shoulder, but top down almost.
yeah,
It's a top-down tower defense, but the idea is you are one of the characters in the game too, so you're fighting alongside all of the creatures that you're sort of putting out there. And it's an interesting game because the idea is you're going from zone to zone. I think the fact that they force you to have to replay a zone over and over and over again does get old very fast,
hmm
but like they want you to like upgrade the base, like the town, but to upgrade the town you have to go redo a mission or like get mission progress on one mission, and then you come back and they've built the thing in the town, and then you get your power ups, and I think the gameplay loop suffers from the idea that they want to add artificial time, sort of like many of the other games that we have nowadays that are like, we want to make a really good game. Okay, we have a really good concept, we have a really good gameplay loop, but we're going to ruin it by adding tons of things that are just wasted space in the game, and and we gate you and make the game harder unless you waste your time clearing all of that bonus content. And I think this game could have been a lot better if they had cut down some of the side things you're doing. Now, it's a really interesting game because you can kind of really design your team makeup, and as you play each level, your team gets bigger and bigger. You
hmm
can, and you build out different groups of guys that fight together, and then you can kind of change the levels or the skills of your towers or your classes that you can turn people into, and you literally just build an army and you fight off a wave of demons
yeah, yeah.
or yokai.
Yeah, I love the concept. I have not played the official game yet. I just played it through the demo. But yeah, I definitely could see where you mean. Like it kind of feels drawn out in times, like where there is a lot of unnecessary parts. Where it didn't, if they just went from like zone to zone to zone instead of going backwards, it would
Hmm.
make more sense. But it's like
Yeah.
I haven't played the real game because I never had to like the demo didn't make me play replay zones, so I didn't get to experience it. Because like that kind of seems weird because like you're guiding this goddess along the path, hence the name of the fucking game. So like, why would
Hmm.
you go backwards? Like
Why would you repeat a level that you've already cleansed the shrine you're at? Why am I replaying it?
right? How did it get toxic again? Or like, I don't know. Maybe there's an explanation for it and why or how that
You're
happens,
just
but
replaying the level. There's no explanation. That's all.
yeah. So that seems a bit
That's the problem.
unnecessary. All right, let's talk about another game here that I beat called Open Roads. This is a game that I was playing with my wife, and it talks about like a mother daughter experience because they just lost a grandmother or AKA mother, and like you're kind of going through her things because they're trying to sell the house, and then they like just find this discovery of like, oh shit, grandma or mom was cheating on grandpa, and you kind of go on this like adventure to find out like who she like cheated on him like on with against grandpa, and you're like shit, and then like you go from like the main house, and then you go to their summer house, and then you go to this like boat that they apparently had like a yacht, and it's like everything's like starts to piece together, and don't want to spoil the ending, but I was just like holy shit, like it's a pretty like enjoyable story. It's a point and click kind of game, like you're just going around like picking shit up. Oh hey mom, come check this out, and you like it's like a visual novel point and click
Mhm.
adventure. It's a really short experience, like 3 hours, I think it was, just under 3 hours that me and Lauren took to beat it. We broke it up into sessions, an hour each.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, overall enjoyable experience. And the fact that it's played, the voice acting is where like it gets its high praise. I'm trying to bring it up here. Open Roads, IMDb.
I
It,
feel like that's a specifically targeted game.
yeah,
Yes, it's a very weird game.
it is Caitlin Dever plays Tess, and then Carrie Russell plays Opal. So those are like big name actors, and they came into the video game realm to lend their voice. And they did really great. And like the banter back and forth, and then like it gives you like dialogue options to choose, and it's just like I was like, what would you say? And then it was just pretty cool to like talk to Lauren about like her relationship with her mom and her grandmom and her great grandmother who also passed away, and it was just like, did you kind of do this with her or just stuff like this, or did you experience this with them? And just a kind of way to bond with my wife. So definitely a game that I would recommend with both you guys if you wanted to play with you guys' wives as well. But
Hey,
that
babe, if you had a yacht and a summer home, would you love to go around finding clues
you never
that
know.
your grandmother cheated on your grandfather?
Yeah, it's a crazy ending though. Definitely check it out. All right, Roger. Another game here on your list is Off-World Trading Company, and I just want to bring this up because like the game we're going to cover here in a little bit, but it's leaving Game Pass here in a couple of days. Is this a game that you want to hurry up and beat? Are you going to buy it so you can continue your playthrough, or?
I already beat. I
Okay.
beat one. I beat the campaign once, and I was like, "Cool." It's a game where you're supposed to beat the campaign in 5, 7, and 9 weeks. So like they're with a campaign, you choose a faction, and you get 5, 7, or 9, I think it is, missions that you play. And each mission is randomly generated. It's on a random map, and it has, random bonuses for winning. And the idea is you're just competing with other corporations to see who can successfully take over the needs, supplying the needs of this Mars colony, on this part of Mars. And it was really interesting. The gameplay loop gets boring fast, and it's just a quick drop in, boom, 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 and you have all of your bonuses that you've bought going into each level. So like you can kind of customize your strategy, but every time the map's different. So maybe your strategy is building supercomputer chips, but turns out that the colony doesn't want to buy supercomputer chips. They want steel, they want glass, and they want chemicals for laboratories. And you're like, okay, well, guess I'm gonna sell computer chips for like a penny, and then glass goes for $1 million, and you're like, okay, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
fuck me.
Fuck my idea, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, you definitely don't probably plan on picking that up once it leaves
No,
Game
I
Pass at
wouldn't
all.
buy it, but it definitely was an interesting and fun game, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't see myself wasting any more time than the one campaign that I played through it, and I was like, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, well, shout out to Game Pass again because it just gives you access to be able to check these games out that you probably wouldn't
Hmm.
even waste your money on. All right, so I just got one more game here on my list I want to talk about before we move on, and that is Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. It's the game I'm currently playing and streaming. It's our game club game of the month for Shoot to Win, for the single player aspect of it, and it's not doing so well for me. Like I really do not enjoy this game at all. It's a Souls
Yeah.
light game, so it's not like full fledged like Souls thing. Like I played Liza P, and Liza P was 1,000 times harder than this game. Um, it's just not enjoyable. Like at any point, the game visually looks bad. Like the color palette that they chose just looks terrible. It's like gray, brown, taupe. Everything blends together. Can't fucking see shit. The voice acting, garbage. Music, not enjoyable. Like the combat is really clunky and just feels really weird because like you're just like this magical being that should be powerful, but like I die like one hit, two hits to like basic enemies, and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And it's just like you have these like guns, hence the name flintlock. Like they're basically gunpowder, and like you only get like three gunpowder bullets basically, and then like to be able to get gunpowder back, you have to hit like four melee hits to get a gunpowder bullet back. So it has like that balance to it. But then you start to unlock like the rifle, and you only get like two shots of the rifle, and then you get like a grenade launcher, and it's like two of those. But the only way to get those again is if you go to like the campfire or whatever to respawn the enemies and get all your stuff back. And it's like the gameplay loop seems really weird, and it's clunky. It is really
Hmm.
fucking clunky, and I'm trying to get like don't want to over criticize the game because it is like a double A experience from A44 Studios that made Ashen. So like the developer's not known for making a big game, but they had really big aspirations here with this game, and I feel like they are falling really short. And it's just like, well, I
Sometimes
guess I had a lot of 7 and 8s and 9s out of 10s over the past few weeks. So I guess it's time to get a less than that experience.
sometimes a lot of when you play these things, it feels like the studio is like, I think I can make this game, and you're like, can you though? Like, have you played a Souls-like game? And they're like, nah, but I think I can do it.
Yeah, I just maybe it gets better as the story goes. It's supposed to be like a 9 to 12 hour experience, and then like I looked up like the mission list to see how far along I am. I think there's like 11 total missions, and I'm at like six. And I just got to like a boss battle, like the traditional like Souls kind of battle, and it's like stage. Like I beat the first stage and moved on. Oh, here he is again. Now he's more powerful, and I'm just like, like this is not fun. Like it's just not fun at all. Like I don't sign up to games to die a lot. Maybe that's why. Like maybe I'm not enjoying it because of that. But yeah, I just like got into it. Died like once. I was like, okay, this was the end of my stream anyway. I would only play it for like an hour, hour and a half, and I just got to the hour and a half mark, and I was like, yeah, I'll come back to this the next stream. But it's like a game like I'm forcing myself to play. Like I don't want to play this game. I don't want to beat this game, but I have to beat this game at this point. I'm already invested halfway through the game. It's our game club game of the month. I need to talk about it. But it also gives me a chance to have that balance because you guys always joke about like, hey, you rate the games like 7, 8, 9 all the time. And this is my
Yep.
chance to actually rate a bad game. Like this is really a
Yeah.
bad game at my point.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of times we're quick to judge like, these big games and just say they're great. But like what did they do for gaming? Like what did they do to make something better, was that experience truly ground
I think we're losing him. You still there, Scott?
We
like
lost
I
him.
beat Lords of the Fallen, and
Yeah,
I'll talk about that here if you would like. And I
he's
thought it was a
back.
good game, and
We
I
lost you
thought
there
it
for a few
had
seconds,
something to
by the way.
add to the Souls. Like, ooh, sorry, yeah, like Lords of the Fallen, I felt like was a really good game, but like it wasn't like the best game I've ever played. Like it had Souls-like vibes. They tried to improve upon the Souls-like genre, but at the same time, they also missed the mark on a lot of the Souls-like genre. Like the fights became very repetitive. Enemies were becoming a hassle because it's like, okay, I'm moving forward, I'm trying to get through this, and then all of a sudden the enemies I'm fighting, like, okay, I don't have enough stuff to get through this, and there's still like 17 more enemies, and they're pushing you to use these seeds, and you drop your seed on the ground, and it opens up a soul vein that you can kind of use as a temporary checkpoint. But then they're like, oh, then there's another one right after it, and then you get to a boss, you beat the boss, they're like, oh, drop a seed here. You're like, okay, cool. Then you look to your left, and there's just a bonfire right there, and you're like, wait, why did I drop a seed?
Yeah, sounds like poor
Like,
level design.
it's just like the Souls like lately just feels like the genre is really struggling to innovate because they're like, I think I can do it better.
Right, and I mean they're kind of trying to ride the wave of like the excitement around the Souls
Hmm.
games because of Elden Ring, especially with the DLC. And they're like, we have to do that because that game is doing like the greatest we've ever seen in video games. We have to copy and paste. Oh wait, we're not good at making these games. Like those guys are really
Hmm.
good at making those games, and we're not. But we're gonna try and
How do
force it
we do?
upon.
How do we do that exact same thing without it feeling like the exact same thing? Don't worry about that. Just do the exact same thing. We're good. They were good. We're gonna be good.
Yeah, and
Doesn't matter
they
about
don't even
story.
do the
Doesn't
same
matter about
thing.
anything like that. Just do the same thing. If you do change anything, make it worse, and then see if people like that. And then if they don't, well, we already got our money. So
We'll
Exactly.
consider it a success and move on to a different genre.
we sold so many copies. A lot of people were pissed after they tried to play the game, but we sold
We
so
sold
many
so
copies.
many.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's everything we've been playing. Any other games you wanted to talk about before we move on to the news we got this week? No. All right.
No.
Let's go ahead and move on to our industry news. All right, man. Going to kick it off here with an interesting one here. The game Balatro, basically, it's kind of like a poker or like solitaire. Like it's a really interesting concept of a game. The developer, local thunk, is worried about the game being sold to a casino that then can. So they took legal action behind this because they don't want their game to, market or like promote actual gambling of games. So they wrote it in their will that even when we're gone, this game could not be that kind of negative connotation that lead to like gambling and stuff like that. So I was like, man, this is an interesting article that kind of came through because like how often do you see game developers like put it in their will to like this game cannot be sold to a certain company because of X, Y, and Z. I can't say we see that often over the last 4 years that we covered. So I was like, interesting take. So Scott, what do you got to say about this?
It's nice to see that they're looking that far into the future.
Yeah.
If it's still there by that point. But it's nice to see that they're like, hey, even if this lasts that long, we want to take protective measures to make sure that it doesn't end up like that. So it's nice to see. I think it's a little, um, I don't know the word for it right now. It's a little thinking awfully highly of yourself. But still, it's nice to see that thought is there.
What about you, Roger? What kind of insight you got on this?
I think it's interesting because we're in a weird market right now where um this is clearly, it's clearly a gambling game. Like that's the point here. It's a card game. It's clearly could be monetized as a gambling game. It could easily end up in a casino. And I think as we move forward with video games are becoming more and more of like a cash grab as opposed to having somebody experience something that you've
Mm-hmm.
done. So like it's I think it's smart for them to look ahead and go, I know what the future could clearly hold for our game. And I don't want to ever see my passion, get ruined. Like at the end of the day, it's not always about money. Like everyone feels like everything has to be about money, but like some game developers, it's not about the money. It's about doing something that they're passionate about, something that they just wanted to create and put in the world, some sort of legacy. And maybe these developers truly cared about making this game, making a card game that was fun, but it plays with cards you would see like regular a 52 card get a 52 card style deck. And so I could see them going, well, video games are becoming ever increasingly like gotcha games, gambling games, all these mobile games that are all about just printing cash. Casinos are clearly going to get in on this at some point because they are loaded with cash. Like
Yeah.
casinos are, they're not just to gamble anymore. You do shows, you do food, you do gambling, you do cards, but like your gambling's not just cards. It's betting on things.
Yeah, like sports
It's
betting.
sports betting, non-sports betting, betting on like anything you can find. Like
Yeah.
it's just I'm interested to see where this could lead. do other developers, go, that's a really good idea. Maybe I don't want to see my game get corrupted like this. Or is it, at the end of the day, somebody's dream to be able to sell their game to a big thing like this and be like, I'm done. I'm set. I didn't care. It was for the money.
Right. That actually reminds me of Wordle, because Wordle was created just like for the hell of it, and then like New York Times
They
was like, "Here's $500 million for your game." Okay. I just made this for my wife or something like that. It was like something like crazy story, like
Yeah.
his wife liked word games and he made her a word
Yeah.
game, and it became this like big popular thing. And then he was like, $500 million. Fuck yeah.
Bye. Yeah, no, and that was like a passion project for somebody, but I think you can buy her more passion for 500 million than you
Right.
can with just the Wordle game. But on the flip side, like there are other games that are way more complex than Wordle, and they take way longer to design, and I think it goes to show that maybe this developer truly just cares more about the prosperity and the longevity of their game than making a buck.
Yeah. Well, let's actually talk about another topic that's not making a buck right now. I'm
Let's talk
sorry.
about one of the worst movies of all time. Like uh I the actual score for Borderlands right now, like if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, man, this movie is bad. And it's not like, oh, critics are like, yeah, it's good, or audiences like, yeah, it's good. No, it's got a 9% by critics and a 49% audience score. Like, it's bad. So like the Borderlands movie is all about it took the idea of Borderlands and then was just like, clearly, this is it. And like I think the fact that like it had none of the pacing from what I'm understanding, like I'm definitely not going to go to pay see it in theaters with the theater
I'm waiting till
prices
this comes to
nowadays.
live streaming to
Yeah,
watch this.
like there's no way I'd watch this unless it was free or somebody paid me to watch it.
Yeah, I'm
Like
glad I waited, because like
it's
I was contemplating about going to see this in IMAX, because I was like, man, this movie would actually be pretty dope to see, but
yeah.
it's coming out to be like not worth the money.
Yeah, so they kind of got rid of the whole idea of like the classic Borderlands actual story. Like they didn't want to do they didn't want to do they had so much to work with. Like
Yeah.
so much. Let's look at Telltale Games. Like they do Borderlands and they make it a story and not the typical Borderlands experience. Did great.
Yeah.
Borderlands, there's a bunch of games. What do we have? 5 now? Yeah. We have the pre-sequel 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. No, not 4
Yeah.
yet. 4 is apparently in
4 is,
development,
yeah.
rumored to be
Yeah,
in
4
development.
is in development, sorry. But yeah, and then we have the Telltale Games series for Borderlands, and there's
and
so
there's two
much
of
to
those,
work
because
off
like I
of.
didn't play the first one, but I played
Mhm.
New Tales of the from the Borderlands this year, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and they had so much to work with, and they were like, let's not do that.
And it's like the
And then they were
interesting
like,
like lineup of characters too. Like I know Jack
mhm,
Black was perfect for Claptrap, but like why did they cast Kevin Hart as, I forget the name of that character, Roland I think it is, and it
yeah.
just doesn't make sense. Like Roland in the games was like this big brawly black dude, like big motherfucker, and you cast Kevin Hart as this little scrawny. It just didn't even make sense. Like you didn't even
And
get the
Roland
casting right.
wasn't like a joking character either. He was serious. Why
Hmm.
would you choose Kevin Hart, who's one of the least serious fuckers out there?
Yeah.
And like, why is Tiny Tina following these characters around? Tiny Tina isn't one of the main 4. Like,
No, not
it
at all.
should have been the main 4
She is
doing the
now.
thing. But like, the whole idea was they literally just wanted to like choose the characters who sorry, there is another game. Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Spinoff. Yeah.
And like, so there's just so much that they could have worked with, and all they had to do was follow like a plot of the Borderlands game, even just something close to it. But what they tried to do was bastardize the idea of just like the first game, and they were
Right.
like, let's do this. It was such a flop, man, and it's sad that we saw this.
Yeah, right now I think
Like
it only has like an $8 million in box office, and it had like $160 million budget, and it's gonna
110 to
fall.
120 for the budget,
Yeah,
so like it's not even a tenth of the way there.
yeah, it's absolutely insane, and it's like I think it opened like the opening weekend. It had like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it was that fucking bad, and it's
IMDb has it as a 4.4 out of 10.
Yeah, and it was so crazy. Like I started seeing like all the game developer, like GameSpot and IGN coming out, and it was like, oh, this is a 3 out of 10. This is a 4 out of 10. I'm like, man, they don't know what they're talking about movies because they did that to like Deadpool and Wolverine. They're like, oh, this is like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I was like, no, there's no way. Like I've actually watched
Yeah.
this movie, and this movie is fucking great. Like you don't know
Well,
what you're
once
talking about in the
again,
movies.
when it comes to that critic score,
It's tough.
you never look at a critic score, right? Critic scores
Mhm.
are just dog shit because they're getting paid to say they like this movie. Just like when we talked a while back about like people like IGN, Game Rant, all this good stuff. Oh, they gave this 9 out of 9. Of course they did, because if they didn't, they wouldn't get any more fucking games to test.
Right.
But like when it comes to this, like you never like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, you never the critic score, nothing means nothing. The audience score is what you want to look at,
Hmm.
and it's still poor.
It's still bad. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So, and it's
and
so
for anybody
crazy.
who thought that was gonna be like a nice like uptick, be like, oh yeah, but the audience loved it. No, they
No,
didn't.
not at all.
They absolutely didn't.
And it's so crazy to think about. Like we're talking about like Halo before, right? Halo just didn't follow any of the source material, and it's like Borderlands was like, oh, you didn't do that good enough. Watch this. Hold my beer. I'm gonna do this shit worse than you guys, and I'll fucking follow it. Like at least Halo tried to get back on track, but like Borderlands said, fuck it, we're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and the thing is, it takes a whole fan base and just says, fuck you. We
Right.
don't care about you. We wanted to appeal to the mainstream audience because they're who's going to come see our movie. And it's like, no, they weren't. We were. Like, we're your audience. Like, I'm weird. It's like weird that these people take us for granted as an audience. They're like, we don't care about those mouth breathers over there. They're not important.
Right.
The people that made the games the success, we don't give a shit about them. We care about the other people who don't even play video games, who don't even know what the storyline is. We want to get them. That's our target audience. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Get absolutely
terrible.
fucked.
It's crazy to
Like,
think it's been like it's 15 years now since Borderlands their OG game came out, and like you just like pissed on it. Like you just really fucked that shit up. Cause like, what does this do for 2K games now? Like, because Gearbox or whatever who owns Borderlands, and you're just like, do they continue with Borderlands 4 in development? Because like this really just didn't hype anything up. Like if this movie would have been great, everyone would have been like, yo, when's the next Borderlands game? Look at what Fallout did. Fallout came out, phenomenal fucking TV series, and they were like, all the games blew up, and everyone's like, when's
Yeah.
Fallout 5 or New
Well-
Vegas 2 or whatever coming out?
and that's what's so ridiculous about this is because there's evidence that sticking to the show in at least some semblance and sticking to the game and sticking to the storyline there and kind of making it revolve around that makes more sense. Fallout, The Last of Us, stellar hits, outstanding. And what did they do? They stuck with a lot of the plotline. They stuck at least with that world. And then you have things like Halo, and you have this, and they just dropped the ball. They're like, what if we don't do it that way? And then they're wondering why nobody wants to watch their shitty movie or their shitty show.
And like the thing is, like they all right, so if I asked you right now, what was the opening song for Borderlands? What song played when the game started?
No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant.
Exactly. Okay, so did they have any Cage the Elephant in the soundtrack for the
Not
movie?
even a fucking bit.
Not even a song, man.
I don't even think
They
there was a
spit on it.
band that started with a C. I don't even think there was a band that started with a C.
They
know who
played
did have
How
Cage
Do
the
You Like
Elephant?
Me Now by The Heavy. Like, that's not even close.
Damn. So they couldn't get the
Couldn't
soundtrack
even
right.
get that right.
They literally could have done, like, the movie could have been better if they had just literally started with a clip by clip rendition of the OG opening to the Borderlands game. It literally just starts with Ain't No Rest for the Wicked playing. And like they'd win. That's it. The fans would have loved it and we would have been invested. But instead, they don't even start with something like that. And I know because I just looked up the soundtrack and that wasn't it. So
Damn.
like
Is
how
there even-
iconic was that when you booted that game up and you heard the song start?
Is there even a band that starts with a C on that soundtrack? Because I want to see
No.
how far they fucked. I fucking
No,
Yeah,
there
they
were only 4 songs there were only 4 songs that weren't original songs they wrote for the movie, and it was "Do Ya" by ELO, "How Do You Like Me Now" by The Heavy, "Like Sugar" by Shaka Khan, and "Shine a Little Light" by the Black Keys.
Awful. Absolutely,
Awful.
absolutely awful.
Absolutely dog
They
shit.
They could have started that entire movie off with "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked,"
And it could have been a
and then-
shit show, and we
and
still
then
would have given
gone
it.
and
you
then
know,
gone into something.
It still would have got a
completely
7 out of
different.
10 with just because of
Yeah.
the song.
like they started
they
off
could have
right, and then he
said-
just
They could have said, "Hey, this is in the Borderlands universe. Doesn't follow the storyline. Here's
don't use the
Ain't No Rest
same
for the Wicked.
characters then either. The fact that they're like,
Here's Ain't No
"Let's
Rest for the
take
Wicked,"
the
and they could
characters
have
and rewrite it.
They could have got 9.
Exactly what they did with
All you
Halo.
needed.
Clearly doing this is not a good idea.
But, like,
Yeah, Master Chief
and-
killing the Arbiter at the end of season 2 was totally canon. Love that. That was fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking ruined
I
the
just-
entire rest of the shit. Because how does he become his partner, like his teammate? Like, it made no sense.
At that point, it's just clear that they didn't plan
Like,
for a season 3 because they
the
were like, "Yeah,
that,
fuck
like
it."
you start the 3rd game in Halo, and like he comes out of the camo, and you fucking stick a gun in his goddamn mouth, and they're like, "Whoa,
No,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
he's on our team
he's
now."
friend." And you're like, "What the fuck do you mean?"
wait.
Who?
Yeah, definitely dropped the ball all the way around. So hopefully they can learn from their mistakes and move on from that. Because like I think
Hopefully they
'cause-
don't learn from their mistakes and they don't do anything else.
if I'm not
'cause they can't
mistaken,
trust- they can't trust
2K
each
Games also owns BioShock, which also has a movie or TV show network. So please don't fuck that up. Please don't fuck that up. All right, that's all the industry news we do got for you this week. Let's go ahead and move on to the gaming news. All right, now that we're all fired up here, let's talk about some Xbox related news. And Roger, when this trailer came out for Black Ops 6 Zombies, I put along with it. I was like, I think Zombies is back. They're finally returning to the round-based stuff. It looks really fucking good. Rick Richtofen is returning. Apparently, he's like the big bad guy, though, revolving around it. It kind of picks up the storyline from Black Ops Cold War, which is the zombies that we played together. It looks really fucking good. I've been watching, they put out like 17 minutes of gameplay as well. And it's like Gobblegums are back, which was from Black Ops 3. So that was pretty dope. The new Wonder Weapons are pretty cool. The Easter eggs are going to be there like a week or two after the game releases because they want people to actually play the map and not fucking run and try to do the Easter egg right away. On top of that, they're also allowing it for accessibility purposes. They have like you can play the regular zombie modes or you can play guided zombie mode. So it'll actually like walk you along the Easter egg, and you can earn actually completely different challenges and like camos and like unlocks if you do the guided version versus the if you just stumble upon it and figure it out yourself, kind of way. So I'm really really excited to finally dive back into zombies again, and hopefully we can run through the story mode because we did it the last one. We kept running through them all. But the cast looks really good. The zombies look really cool. There's a good variety of them. They kind of simplified a lot of the systems because you remember like you'd have to run to like the mannequin looking thing and upgrade your armor and upgrade your weapons there. Like you kind of just click on something you upgrade instead of going through menus to try and do it. The pack a punch, there's no more menus. You click on the pack a punch, you upgrade your fucking gun right then and there. They took away like the different ammo types. They simplified
It was so against being quick about it. Like you're in the shit of it, and they're like, "Well, it's gonna take you 30 seconds to upgrade your gun, but you also have to hit the menu. That takes about another 10." You're like, "Why?"
Right.
You're like,
This is intense.
"Fuck you."
Yeah, it just didn't. It didn't
By the way,
do
your
well.
round pause is 15 seconds. Have fun.
Yeah. Also another cool feature they announced is that if you're playing like solo, you have the ability to like quit and save, so then you can like reload your zombie experience as opposed to like leaving the game pause and coming back into it later in the day.
You
And
can
running
go
your
wipe the sweat off your face and be like, "Oh god, damn it." All right.
They also allowed the ability like if you're playing and like your friend wants to join you, you can be around like 70 and your friend's like, I want to join you, and now they allowed you to, like join in progress in the game too, so like that's pretty dope. There's 2 round-based maps launching with the game as well, with more coming in during the seasons of the game. Also, there's in this map you get to like ride around on a boat from different areas, like different points of interest inside the zombies map. and but it kind of reminds you like transit when you had the bus, like going from point to point, and like if you hopped off the bus, you got attacked by those like fuckers that would hop on your face and like rip
Yeah.
you apart. And it's kind
Yeah.
of like that in this too. Like if you hop off the boat and you're trying to swim to the island or the next part of the map, there's like these tentacles that like chase after you and try to grab you and stuff. Like it's a pretty badass game. Um, at least from the gameplay that I actually got to
Yeah.
see.
Well, it always looks good when it's getting ready to be released.
Yeah,
We'll see. It looks great. It really does. I'm with you on that. It does look great. It looks fun. It looks like they're just kind of they simplified the story a little bit. They make it important, but not just overly
Also,
like
there's
just
another thing they
fancy
added
random
too. I
shit.
forget what the ability is actually called, but it's like some power up or something you pick up. You like inject yourself with it, and like you can become like one of the big fucking brute zombies that have like the cannon that shoots out, and like you can like plow through zombies. And I was like, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
different fucking
steroids.
take. Like that is
It's
a
steroids.
completely
I'm pretty
different
sure.
fucking take. But I think there's like 8 perks at launch. There's like a new one that like increase like melee damage as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot going for zombies. They also got rid of like the liquid divinium, so you don't have to like try and get that to buy stuff. Like they just got rid of it. Like they really simplified this stuff, and I'm like, this is good. Like I'm glad they are trying to
More
return
is
to.
not better.
No, not at all. So it looks good. I'm excited. Comes out October 25th. Game Pass day one. I still actually might buy it because GameStop is offering a exclusive steelbook for free. So I'm like, man, you're hooking me with these damn steelbooks, guys. You got me. But moving on here, QuakeCon happened over the last week, I think it was, and with that, we actually got to see Doom 1 and 2 get a new enhanced bundle with new levels that were created from id Software, Night Dive Studios, and Machine Games. So this is like the OGs from like 1993, and like the second one, whenever that came out, right after that. Did you ever play the original Doom, Roger?
Yeah, I didn't really play it much. I played it later in life, and it didn't really enjoy it because by the time I got to it, it wasn't like new and fanciful to me.
Oh no, not at all. It's definitely like one of those like super retro games, like one of the OGs, like first person shooters even. And
Hmm.
with this enhanced version, it still has like 8v8 like multiplayer matches that you can play with friends either locally or online. So that was pretty cool. And it's actually available on Game Pass now. Like if you, I mean,
Hmm.
also if you bought them, you also got these enhanced versions for free. So you get like 4K textures, like all the studio that kind of helped them also did like the Star Wars, the Dark Forces, like enhancement to that. So it's kind of running on that similar engine. But it's like if you don't own it at all, if you want to buy it, it's $10. Um, so it has cross-platform crossplay for up to 16 players. So I was like 4K 120. I mean, that's not bad for upscaling a game that they're kind of just bringing along. I mean, this is like one of the OG first person shooters, you know. But another game that you were not the biggest fan of was Doom Eternal. This one is actually getting mod support, so that's pretty cool to see what they can come up with
Hmm.
in that world. And then also, I didn't put it on here on the list. I know that Starfield is getting like a Doom like mod that you can do, and you can actually like play through like an entire like campaign of like Doom inside Starfield by going to like a certain planet. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But like we're kind of see that like they were trying to build Skyrim and Elder Scrolls on a world in Starfield. So it's like Starfield's going to be like they're all encompassing, like all their worlds are going to be in this universe somewhere. But yeah, so that's all the game updates for in regards to Xbox. Game Pass editions, you got Creatures of Ava, which is out now for all cloud, PC, and the Series X and S. This is kind of like a another one of those like creature capturing, but this one has like a lot more story to it. The color palette, the design looks really cool. Actually, was showing Lauren, she was like, "Oh, this actually looks pretty cool." So like, I was planning on downloading that and picking that up here soon. The other one is Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy is now out now on all platforms, but it's a part of Game Pass, and it's the OG Crash Bandicoots from the PS1 days, just the enhanced versions. And then we are getting the Mafia Definitive Edition on August 13th here for all cloud console and PC. So if I heard that this one was really good. Like whenever they remade or remastered Mafia, it was a really good update to it. Were you guys big fans of the Mafia series? No.
Didn't really play them.
I played a little bit. It was fun. It was kind of one of those times with GameFly.
Yeah.
Just hit it fast and kept moving.
Ooh,
Right. Yeah.
GameFly.
Yeah. Oh, geez. And then as for Game Pass departures here on August 15th, Airborne Kingdoms, Off-World Trading Company, which we talked about earlier, Shadow Warriors 3, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are all leaving the service. But that is all the Xbox news I do got for you guys this week. And there's nothing for PlayStation and Nintendo as of right now. But Roger, what's going on over in for Epic Games?
So Epic Games has decided for Fall Guys, which isn't dead, turns out,
No.
to add in Stitch. Recently, Stitch just had his 10-year anniversary for Lilo and Stitch. And in addition to Stitch, there are 3 new Star Wars skins that are arriving as well for Fall Guys. You can be Darth Maul, R2D2, or Padme.
Oh, and I forgot Yoda. My bad.
Oops. 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
4 new skins. Terrible.
It actually looks pretty cool. Like it made we didn't talk about it earlier, but that was actually one of the games that I added to my list of downloading again was Fall Guys, and it was just for the
Mhm.
Star Wars skins. And I was like, I don't feel like spending money yet, but I really want that Darth Maul skin. It looks so badass in Fall Guys for some reason.
And then next up, we have some Fortnite updates. So for the Fortnite update, the first one, Fall Guys is going to now be the content from Fall Guys is now also available in Fortnite. So it looks like you have a trailer here for people.
Yeah, I got that playing. It's pretty cool because like when you're playing like regular Fortnite, there's like these statues that you can find, and it's like the different beans from Fall Guys, and it like sends you up into a rift, and you fly down onto the track, and then you go through like an obstacle course as one of the Fall Guy beans, and then you try to collect a crown, and then you get like this like llama package that you can open, and you get like high rarity loot. So it's a pretty cool concept for it. So
I
it's
think
like
the
you're
best part about this is, and I remember seeing some of the trailer and some stuff like that, is like it's a Fall Guy version of your character.
yes.
So as long as it's compatible. Now, that's a lot of work to go in to try to make a Fall Guy version of a Fortnite skin that was probably brought in from some weird collab they did. That seems super cool to me. That seems like they put a lot of work into that, and really were like, yeah, let's actually like get some Fortnite, get some Fall Guys in here, and then make you look like a Fall Guy version of your whoever you have at that moment, which I thought was really really cool.
Yeah, it's so crazy to see what like Epic Games has been able to do with their IPs because like they own Fall Guys, they own Fortnite, and they own Rocket League. Like they own those 3 main IPs, and just to see the different crossovers they've been able to do with all of their games, and then even the crossover with Lego, like they literally like took all of the regular characters and made them look like Legos too, and it's like, what can't they do in Fortnite? Like the Fortnite creation engine is like unbelievable, and then just to see the content that the Epic Games keeps putting out is pretty badass. Because there's some other content here, Roger.
Yeah. So let's talk about Assaulting Fort Doom. So Absolute Doom is a new Marvel Fortnite crossover that's happening.
Has me stoked.
It's literally a giant assault on a AI controlled fortress, but also at the same time you can end up fighting other players as well. And while you're also doing this, there's the ability for you to pick up actual powers from the Marvel superheroes. Like for example, you'll see there that they use Captain America's shield, and a bunch of other characters will get abilities. Some I'm not even sure who they are.
Not the banana Wolverine.
Yeah, Banana Wolverine was pretty cool.
You had Mysterio, you had Cyclops, you got
I mean, they have.
I mean
Oh
there's
my God, so many
everybody's
people.
in this shit. Like it's
Yeah.
so crazy to see like just the constant
So many
collaboration. There's Black Panther now about to pop here up on screen. Like what Fortnite has been able to do with Marvel, and Marvel just loves the extension of their universe too, because like we got to see a lot of the different characters, a lot of some of the story that actually connects to the movies, like in their events that they do.
Mhm.
So to be kind of curious because obviously they just announced that the new big bad guy for the Marvel universe is going to be Doctor Doom, taking over for Kang for obviously reasons. And then I'm really curious to see how they tie in the Robert Downey Jr. We could save that for another day, but this is just tying it, getting people excited for Doctor Doom because like he is the bad guy of the bad guy. Like we've seen in the
Well, to
comic
give you
books. Like,
It's Thanos all over again.
but they,
super quick, fast, like just quick history lesson. At one point in the comic universe, Tony Stark was Victor Von Doom, and he was Doctor Doom.
yes,
And
yes,
that Victor Von Doom was Iron Man. So I think that's where they're gonna try to
hmm
cross over.
So
They're
have you
gonna
guys
cross
seen the
Doom
new movies yet?
and
Deadpool and
multiverse.
Wolverine.
I have not yet. No, God, I want to
I
so bad, but I
saw.
haven't been able to get out for like a couple
Mhm.
hours.
Yeah, so like without there's nothing to spoil that's part of the movie, but like the concept of the movie is like in Deadpool's
It's very
universe.
multiverse related.
In Deadpool's universe, he's in universe like 1001 or whatever, and like that's where all of the X-Men movies live. So like Logan, at the end of Logan, when Logan dies, like that his world starts to crumble because he is now a
Anchor being.
anchor
Not
being.
all
Yes.
of the X-Men, not all of the X-Men, just the one where Wolverine was that Wolverine,
He
as
was the
opposed to
anchor
like,
being.
because there are other ones where he isn't like
No,
in
no,
there.
but all of the X-Men movies that we know from Fox
Oh,
are
okay,
set
okay,
in
yeah.
that universe.
Yes, yeah.
So like at the end of Logan, with like obviously Logan dies, like his universe crumbles because of a anchor being, and the rumor I'm hearing is that Iron Man was the anchor being of the 616 universe, which is what all of the MCU is based out of. So they have to travel through multiverses to find a new Iron Man so their universe does not collapse and they accidentally grab an Iron Man that so happens to be Doctor Doom. And I think that's where that's going to go. Just theory at this point. But that would kind of explain it the most sense because it also ties into the comics how like like Victor Von Doom turned into Iron Man and stuff like that, or like their minds got switched as well. Like it could be pretty crazy how they can set that up. But shout out to Fortnite to getting the excitement for Doctor Doom and whatnot, because Fortnite's still one of the biggest games in the world.
It's
Why not?
insane. It's insane. I moved into a new neighborhood and just the other day met some neighbors and his kid walked out Fortnite shirt and I'm just like, man, everybody has this damn shirt. Even like 2 nights ago, I was even like way down, like maybe like a half mile. Kid walks out, Fortnite
Fortnite.
shirt. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right, cool.
They all
Ev-
shop at the same place, my friend.
Everybody plays Fortnite. Like old, young, does not matter. Fortnite is big. There's always new content. Like there's just endless amounts of fun that you can do in Fortnite.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd.
But that is all the news we got for Epic Games. Scott, if you want to round out our gaming news section with Bandai Namco.
Absolutely. So Bandai Namco has actually announced the new first ever Dragon Ball MOBA. So it's going to be called Dragon Ball Project Multi. It's developed by Ganbarian Studio, who did the One Piece World Seeker, if anybody's familiar with that. And they're actually going to be doing an open beta on August 20th. I'm pretty interested, to say the least, as a Dragon Ball fan. I hope it doesn't end up like every single fighting game from Dragon Ball that has ever existed. Where we were talking earlier, like, hey, let's go ahead and just copy their homework and somehow make it worse every time.
Every
But
single
like,
time.
But
when we're talking about a MOBA though, like all it has to do is just play like Smite.
that's what I'm saying. And they're gonna go ahead and probably not do that.
Yeah, there's
But
gonna be some top-down bullshit.
Well, you can see here on the trailer. Like, I don't know what to expect. I don't think I've ever played a MOBA. Um,
You
so
played League of Legends once?
maybe, and I don't even know if I did that, to be honest.
that was a MOBA top down.
So
Oh yeah, this is fucking top-down.
Yeah.
yeah,
GG.
You
This
said that,
isn't
I
gonna
yeah,
work.
I kept myself quiet. I was
I
like,
literally read the article and didn't even look at the trailer because I was so disinterested in the idea. And it's no,
yeah, it's
this is
we'll
gonna be a
see.
failure.
Honestly, they would have been better off doing a League of Legends clone for Dragon Ball at that point.
Well,
Uh,
that's what this is.
yeah, but I don't know. It's like your aiming seemed different. I don't know, it just seemed a little weird. It seems like they're taking the League of Legends view,
hmm
but taking like Xenoverse aim. So
fair.
who knows? But that's the new stuff coming out of Bandai Namco. Hopefully, somebody, an intern, stumbles across this podcast and sees that, hey, that's not what we want, and then they change it.
Right.
But if they don't,
Or at least we got that new Dragon Ball Z game that's coming out. The actual fighting game, um, Sparking Zero. That comes out October 11th. That's supposed to be like that one actually looks good. Like that looks like it's returning to like Dragon Ball Z Budokai like from back in the day on the PS2.
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. So hopefully, like, they're just kind of riding a wave. Like Dragon Ball's doing really good. Like the anime is still pretty hype, and the games have been doing really well, and the excitement around that. But they just wanted to maybe try and push Dragon Ball into a new genre, which I'm not never against that. Like it's pretty cool to see them push because you figure. Actually, I was listening to a podcast they were talking about. They're like the issue with a lot of games, like say Dragon Ball, they usually stick to the same genre over and over and over. And there's only so many times that you can remake the same game until it's not fun anymore. And it's like, how can we transition this IP to something different? And MOBA could be it could work out really well. I mean, all of the characters that are in the universe, and they can put it in a style game, especially like 4v4. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. We'll see if they use it. I'm anxious to see if they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic at this point.
Yeah.
When it comes to them using that, I would love to see a successful Dragon Ball game that isn't just the same bullshit we've gotten for the past 10 years.
Hmm.
Sans Budokai.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had a
But
good one.
I mean, shit, I would go for a side scroll like Mortal Kombat, but
And it actually, because if I'm not mistaken, Dragon Ball also branched off into that asymmetrical genre too, where it was like 1v4 or something like that. But it was like the enemies were like Boo and
The
Cell or whatever, and they were chasing civilians.
the Dead by not Dead by
Yeah,
Daylight.
kind of like Dead by
Dead by
Daylight.
Daylight.
Yeah, Dead by
Yeah.
Daylight. But yeah, those are called asymmetrical games. So it was like okay, so like they're trying different ways to how can we make this work in a video game form.
well, they're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. But they get an A for effort for at least trying.
That's
But
fair. I
but
give them an A for effort.
all right, guys, that's all the gaming news that we do got for you this week. So we want to shout out everyone who checked us out live today here on Twitch, and anyone who checks us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you may listen to us at. But Roger, where can your community find you at?
You can find me here. That's about it right now.
That is it. And what about you, Scott?
Hey, if I'm on, you can find me on Discord. It's gonna be spotty at best. But if you are trying to see what I'm up to and trying to see about the new house, new daughter, new life at this point, then you can always get a hold of me on Instagram at Scobie1.
And you can check me out over at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _. Threads is Mr. Never Chillin. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. If you want a game, party up, hit me up there. I am playing a lot of college football still. If anybody want to run the sticks up, let me know. Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on a show, hit up my DMs there. And I do stream over on my Twitch at twitch.tv /Mr. Never Chillin, where I am currently streaming Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn and hopefully another game because I want to mix up my palette because I'm tired of forcing myself to play that game as of right now, and I need something to mix it up a bit. But we do want to thank everyone again. But until next week, peace.
Press Start Podcast.